Today we're going to be talking about the biggest reason why people quit too early in ministry or business or service and how to avoid it. If you've ever been tempted with growing weary in well-doing, and you've been laboring, you've been working, you've been doing things, and you're wondering, am I going, is this too much? Or is this really worth it? Should I really continue? Is this going to work? And you've been perplexed with doubts and this discouraging thoughts and that have tempted you to give up. I'm going to be sharing with you one of the biggest reasons that causes this and how to avoid it once and for all. If you would like a method, a framework, a tip that will totally transform your time when you're feeling like giving up, just remember this one thing and it will totally help you. And it has helped so many countless people otherwise who have gone through this experience as well. This exercise that I'm going to be taking you through as well. First, my name is Enoch Leffingwell, and here at the Army of Youth, we are passionate about helping young people to financially support themselves while dedicating their talents to Christ's service. We teach people how to turn their calling into a career, how to be able to use your business as a vehicle to serve Christ. If this is something that interests you, then I encourage you to subscribe and follow us on social media so that you can get more messages just like this one. So, what is the number one biggest reason why people quit too early? Just give up 5 minutes before the miracle? Is because they forget their why. They forgot the reason why they started. Your why is why you don't quit. How do we see this in the example of Christ? In Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 2, the Bible talks about how Jesus, despising the shame, who for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame. So even Jesus in the Gospels of Luke, in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was saying, Father, if there be any other way, please take this cup from me, this cup of suffering, the cross. If there's any other way that mankind can be saved, I'm willing, just take the cross, take this away. But nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. And then God sent an angel, the Bible says, an angel that ministered to him. And Hebrews 12, it says that it was the joy that was set before him that he endured the cross. When you look at the parable of the one lost sheep, there is joy in heaven over one sinner that repenteth. So what was the joy that helped Jesus in the moment of temptation to endure and to not give up or quit too early? It was the joy of seeing you and I saved eternally in the kingdom. I believe he was able to see the redeemed throughout the ages who would be in the kingdom as a result of him persevering. That was why he was here. And by remembering his why, he was encouraged to keep going. Jesus didn't give up because he loves you so much that he couldn't afford to give up. He remembered this is the reason that God came and he clothed divinity in humanity. He took upon himself the form of a servant and he clothed himself with flesh like you and I so that we could be saved throughout eternity. And like manner, the same reason why you won't quit, whether it is in your business, in your ministry, in your marriage, in your relationship, in any difficult thing, is because of your why. Why did you start? So if you believe you're at the end of a thing, then it's a lot easier to be quit. When you believe that you're at an end of a relationship, do you act differently than if you believe you're at the beginning of the relationship? Oh yeah, at the beginning of a relationship, you're willing to do things and you're excited to do things and to sacrifice. And you're just you are excited to do things you otherwise wouldn't than if you believed you were at the end. So the secrets to surviving and thriving beyond discouragement is if you treat whatever it is, whether it's a ministry, a business, a relationship, your health, if you treat the ends as though you were in the beginning, then there will be no end to what you are seeking to accomplish or experience in life. It starts by having very strong reasons, because reasons reap results. When in accomplishing anything in life, it requires strong reasons. A lot of times we think that we want to know the strategy. We want to know how to do something. But I would submit to you that how to is only 20% of the battle. Why to, the reasons, is 80% of accomplishing anything. Like, for instance, I used to be fat. I was 210 pounds, borderline diabetic, high cholesterol. I was the second fattest kid of an elementary school of about 1,000 students. I was obese. And I knew how to lose weight. And I knew it's like, okay, how many of us, we know how to lose weight? Just diet and exercise, like eat good, healthy food and move. And yet we know how to do it, but if knowing how is really the thing that we're missing, and really the thing that prevents us from accomplishing what God has called us to do, then everybody would be slim, fit, and feeling fabulous, but they're not. Why is that? It's because of the reasons. I didn't have strong reasons enough to lose weight until I had a heart attack when I was 12 years old. I was in the face with death. I was in the face of becoming a diabetic for the rest of my life. And that gave me strong reasons to awake. And as Psalms 119 verse 71 says, it's good for me that I've been afflicted. Why? That I might learn thy statutes. Now I have strong reasons. Sometimes it's affliction, sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's a problem that goes unsolved. That when you remember why you started, you don't grow weary in well-doing. Because you know you will reap in due season if you faint not, as Galatians 6:9 says. So reasons reap results. Remember that. So I'm going to give you an exercise that allows you to identify your, what I like to call your crystal clear why. This is the reason that is so clear, so crisp, that this is the reason why you're not going to give up and why you're not going to quit as you persevere for any goal that you set, anything that you're praying for and you're working towards. Remembering this will help you. First of all, you have to get very clear in deciding exactly what you want. Be clear on what is the outcome, what is the fruit that you want. In Psalms 37, God says, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of your heart. God wants to give you the desires of your sanctified heart. It's not wrong, it's not selfish to be clear on something that you want as long as God has promised for it. But get clear on what you want and then choose what are you going to do to get there? Like, why is it so important? When you're clear on what you want, then you want to ask a question. I'm going to take you through the 7 layers deep exercise. This is what I call the 7 layers deep, because your why is much like an onion, where you peel off one layer and you're like, okay. And sometimes we're like, what do you want? And then you find out, why do you want it? Why is this important to you? And the first answer is usually a surface answer. It's not really a lasting answer. So you got to peel off again. Why is that important to you? And then you peel off another layer. Why is that important? And then why is that important? You do this 7 layers deep. Repeat the question. What do you want? Why do you want it? And why is it important to you? Ask that question 7 times, and that 7th layer, you're going to find the crystal clear why. This is the why that when you're reminded of, you won't quit. This is the why when in the darkest time, in the moment of discouragement, when everything seems bleak, where you remember your why and you know that victory is near. And you will persevere because your why is so compelling and it pulls you forward that you can't give up. And so I'll give you an example. So I was going through this exercise with a student of mine, and I was talking with him, and the question is, like, through Christ, what do you want to accomplish? And he was saying, I want to turn my calling into a career. So he says, I want to turn my calling into a career. Then I was like, okay, how do you want to turn your calling into a career? He says through publishing. He wants to publish. He wants to create content that's going to transform lives and do it in a way that he could support himself. He's going to start a business that is a gospel entrepreneurship, business evangelism endeavor through publishing, through information products, information sharing and teaching to others. So I asked him, Level 1, layer 1. Why is it important to you to turn your calling into a career through publishing? And his answer was, because publishing is how I can share what I learn and what I have learned. That's a good answer, but that's just the first layer. Let's go to the second layer. why is it important for you to share what you've learned and what you will learn? And so he answers, because there are people out there who are struggling because they don't know. This is his personality. They ignorant about things like the mind, building relationships, marriage, preparation, emotional health, and finances. They ignorant about these things, and they don't know what they don't know, and they're struggling. And so I asked him, I said, why is it important to you to see people who are, to see that people are not struggling in their ignorance regarding these things like mind, building relationships, and finances? And so this is layer 3. And his answer was, because it can make a profound difference in their lives and have awareness about things, and learn how life works. It can make a profound impact in their lives to have awareness about things and how life works. So this is why it's important. So this is layer 4. I ask him, why is it important to you to make a profound difference in people's lives by bringing awareness to how life works? And then his answer, because there are decisions that I have made that if I knew what I know now, the pain and suffering so much pain and suffering would have been avoided or prevented entirely. Oh, you can start to see that. Can you relate? Can you feel too that if you knew what you knew now, there's some decisions you would do differently, and there's other people who are about to make the same decision? You think that's kind of motivating to share with others what God has shared with you? Yeah, but get this, we're only on layer 5 now. We're almost there, but it's going to get even more compelling. So layer 5, same question. Why is it important to you? And you just insert their answer. Why is it important to you to help others to avoid pain and suffering by making better decisions through knowing what you know now? And here's his answer. Because my life, you see, my life and my family have been deeply affected by my ignorance. And if my family has gone through the extent of the heartbreaking pain of a broken and dysfunctional home that I have seen or heard and that I've experienced, I know that there is someone out there who's going through something even worse, and I could prevent it. It's like, whoa. So it's getting deeper, right? The why is getting more heavy. It's getting more compelling, and you could see the pulling force that I could have you through a hard time. Could you, right? So layer 6, I ask, why is it important to you to help others who are going through worse, heartbreaking pain of broken homes that you've seen, that you've heard, that you've experienced through publishing? And he says, because homes are the heart of society and the roots of the pain, suffering, and dysfunction that we see. If I can share the things that I have learned and take young men with me on my journey, then the pain will not be perpetuated. It's like, wow, this is getting good. But now we come to layer 7. To find your crystal clear why. What the answer of this is going to be your crystal clear why. So let's ask this. I ask him one more time. Why is it important to you to not perpetuate the pain by taking young men with you on your journey? And his answer is because I want to get to the root of the issue. When you heal a man, you heal everyone in his influence. There is his crystal clear why. That's the thing. That is the why that will pull forward when the going gets tough, when things get difficult. To remember that it's like, this is the reason why I am here. I live to serve. I'm here. I want to handle the root of the issue. If I can help heal a man, then I will heal everyone in his influence. Men are the leaders of society, and their influence is strong in the home, that the house band, the husband, by helping reach young men before they make all these mistakes, then we can make a difference in all of society. That's a compelling vision. That is a compelling why. And the truth is, the higher your why, the stronger your why, the higher you'll fly. So it's so important. It may seem like, wow, 7 layers is pretty deep. It's like, are you sure we need to go 7 layers? Just remember, the stronger your why, the higher you fly. The question is, how high do you want to fly? How far do you want to go? How strong do you want to be pulled forward from the difficulties that you experience? So once you, if you're, anytime that I'm about to start a big project, or I'm facing something discouraging, or something that it seems hard for me to do, and I might be procrastinating this thing, I go back to my why, and I have to ask. And sometimes I don't know my why, and often if I'm unclear in my why, it's going to be, a confused mind is a paralyzed mind. So I tend to procrastinate things. I'm unclear on why I'm doing it. So I just sit down and I'll go through this exercise, and I'll answer these questions and go through and ask, why is this important to me? And I go 7 layers, and I find my crystal clear why, and I'm like, oh, and a lot of times it goes back to the same common things. And for a long time, my why has been, I want to share with others what God has shared with me. And I want to be for others the thing that I wish I had when I was in their situation. These are I want to give others the opportunities I wish I had when I was just getting started. That's why in the Army of Youth, we do a lot of the things that we do in the Army of Youth, because I want to share the things I'm grateful for. And I want to give people what I wish I had when I was just getting started. So this is my why. And anytime I'm faced with discouragement, I go back to this why. It encourages me to be not weary in well doing. And to know that I'll reap in due season if I faint not. And it's so compelling, I can't give up. As long as you remember your why, it is impossible for you to quit. You can't do it even if you wanted to, because your why wakes you up in the morning. Your reason to live, your reason to pray, your reason to serve, your reason to be kind, and to serve those who God has called you to uniquely serve. So it's this crystal clear why exercise, what I like to call the 7 layers deep exercise. This helps you to center very much. And what's really powerful is if you're a leader and you have people that you're working with, you can go through this exercise with others. Go through this exercise with your team, with your family, and find out why, what motivates them, what causes them to tick, what gets them up, what awakens their passion, their joy, their just purpose. And I'm telling you, this is such a powerful exercise. You can use this with your children. You can use this with your spouse. You can use this with your coworkers, with your employees, with your team members. If you have a partner that you're doing Bible studies with or you're working with, go through and find out what is their why. Because this is a really powerful tip in leadership. Listen here. When you're working with others and you know their why and you see they're going through a hard time, now you get to remember. You get to remember their why and remind them of their why. Because people will always do things that are in their best interest for their reasons, not yours. So if you want to persuade and encourage someone to take an action that they're procrastinating, then they will do it for their reasons and not yours. And as you know other people's reasons, other people's why, what motivates them to action, then you can inspire them to take actions that you otherwise couldn't influence them to do. And it is for their good, for their benefit, for their reasons. And this is such a powerful exercise to encourage the people that you love, that you care about, that you're surrounding you, to support them in the direction that God has called them to. Remind them of their why. I know the why of each of the people that I work closely with. I know what motivates them. I know what unique dreams, goals, desires, dispositions, strengths, and struggles that they have, weaknesses. And I know their why. And because I know their why, it's easier for me to work with people that I'm working close with. And so this is what you want to do. And now I have given you the exact framework, 7-step questions that I use personally, regularly with my team to be able to help other people to reach the goals and the calling that God has set in their life, to help them to live their calling. So I hope that this has been helpful. And I encourage you to go through this exercise. I'm so excited for you to be able to use this and have this tool in your tool belt when the going gets tough. You can remember. And so I just want to encourage you that God has a plan for your life. You're in the right place at the right time. If you're about to start a business, you're about to start a ministry, they're doing some new things, this is a powerful tool you want to go through with everyone on your team. And I've put together a special resource, a tool that I want to share with you. It is a course that is teaching you the biblical principles that God has on finances. If you want to understand God's plan for your finances, go to thearmyofyouth.com/financial, and you can sign up for this free training. Again, it's thearmyofyouth.com/financial, and you can join this program, and you can get the Bible financial secrets that are not really being taught in the schools. So I look forward to seeing you in the training, and I'm so glad that you've spent the time to be able to talk with me here. Go ahead and share this video with other people that you believe will be a blessing to, and be encouraged, my friends, because God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called.